People are weird. They just and they put their stigma on others. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
And then the people that are doing it, they feel guilty. And we
Yeah.
Yeah.
shouldn't.
Well, like,
And
yeah,
then they're
you're shamed
shamed.
and you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't,
Right. So you
I
shouldn't
don't know.
care about anything.
Right?
It's so, see, and like all of this is
And
like,
it's hard.
because there's so much judgment, it's so easy to see why women shut down, or
Mm.
they shut down their femininity, they shut down anything that is seen as more of themselves, that's, oh, it's a threat to someone else, or oh, someone else's salvation is on the line because now they have impure thoughts.
Right. Or different outfits that you want to wear. Oh, you can't wear the stripes and the polka dots together. Why not? Or these two colors, or mix and match, or, like, why? I used to be like so, fashionable, like, oh, I can't do that, I can't do that. If I like something now, but I do it. But it took me too long. Don't be like that. Don't let it take you too long. It took me way too long to be like this. Don't, you
Mm.
know? Just step out. Step out when you're young and I mean, when I was young, I didn't care. Then I got into this middle road, learning different things, trying to be a good parent, trying to set a good example. And then all of a sudden it seemed like I lost a little bit of myself, and like the tradition of the church and things that I was in kind of like conformed me, and I lost a lot of that freedom to express myself,
Oh, for
in
sure.
different ways. And not a lot, but some. And don't let it happen. Express yourself and be yourself, even with your children. You know, I mean, I was a lot cool with my kids, like I let them express themselves, like they wear crazy things to the mall, like long dresses, and they were superheroes, and, they wore outfits and everywhere, I let them do whatever they wanted inappropriate. Like if it was winter and they wanted to wear like shorts, I said, you have to wear tights and your shorts on top. I let them make choices, but then I was supervising them. So you have to let them make their choices, but you have to, be the parent at least, you have to have some restriction, but let them be themselves too. Don't let them lose their identity either. So it was tough for a while, So let your children also grow up not to lose their identity too, because I felt I lost mine a little bit along the way.
Yeah. Well, then there's also that whole like the religious thing. Like you have to have your hair covered, you should have your arms covered, you should, like
No low cut,
no low cut,
I was so self-conscious.
Yeah, yeah. Now you're back into the shame and and if you are that, then you're this, and the judgment and all that other crap. And I mean, you might as well be having to wear a burqa or something because, I mean, that's the extreme, but a lot of people are raised with that too, so um Shayla, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. That immediately I started thinking of temple clothing because
Mm.
women, well, I mean, yeah, even the men, like a long sleeve, whatever, everything, they get to wear a hat, whereas the women have to wear a veil, and then they have to put the veil over their face during certain parts of the ceremony, which is ridiculous and submissive and oppressive. And so, because the whole goal in the Mormon community is like, you go in the temple, you get married in the temple. So my mom thought it was a great idea to start instilling in me, you can't wear this stuff because your garments won't be covered. So I couldn't wear shorts above the knee, even if it was literally like a centimeter, like exposing my kneecap. It was like, no, it has to be below the knee. Of course, I didn't really care about whether or not I wore sleeveless stuff, but she was always like, no, okay, no, no. So I was always being constantly scrutinized, and I felt again so much shame around my body, and just felt so ugly inside because I was being told that no matter, for just existing, I was shameful. My body was shameful because I carry that feminine energy, because I carry, whatever it is that makes people like start having impure thoughts. And it's like, you can find someone who has everything covered and they can find it sexual. That does not, doesn't matter what you're wearing. So
Right.
yeah, I feel like there was so much oppression, and then just having to wear garments and then put your bra and underwear over it, like you had to have it skin to skin.
Oh,
It just felt so violating.
Hmm.
So yeah, nah, that's my piece on it.
And then there's this other thing about like some religions don't want women to ever cut their hair.
Yeah,
Heard that one. The woman's crowning glory is their hair, and it's supposed to be
I'd be in big
long.
trouble.
Yeah, or at least, at a certain age, you're not supposed to, it's like, that's just weird. That's just weird, because I've always had super short hair, except now, COVID, I stopped cutting my hair, but, is this a feminine thing, I mean, does that make you more feminine, less feminine? I mean, by whose standards? By whose standards, It's just so, hmm.
Seems like we always go back to the same thing. Always.
Yeah.
Who sets these rules and regulations? Just like Vision says, the rules.
Mm.
hmm
Rules. Well, put them all aside. I'm tired of it. That's why these people always like go out in the wilderness and just do their own communities. But then again, then they form their own shit, though. That's the next. You notice that it
Right.
always ends up with their own rules.
yeah.
Right, right.
But I mean, it's like you have to have something to follow, but at least you, if you go to that community, it seems like you like the rules. You
Yeah,
know
as
what I'm
long as
saying?
yeah. So it's like as long as there's informed consent about, hey, you joined us, this is the dress
Yeah,
code. You're cool
right,
with that? Great.
right. I'm in
Right.
favor of it. Then that would be okay. But
So why do people want to conform so much?
I don't know. Do
Is
they
there
feel that
safety in
they
that?
need that? Do they feel that they need that order or that structure? I don't know.
They're desperate
Well,
to belong to something?
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that was one thing that was actually easy about being Mormon. And people say, oh, anybody who leaves Mormonism, like they thought it was too hard. No, it was actually harder to leave because like everything was given to me. Everything was handed to me in the sense of, hey, this is where you were before you were born. This is where you're going to go after you die. Here's what's going to happen in your life. And this is how you make your trajectory to reach the highest piece of heaven. You have a question about, something else, well, here, let's just throw an answer out there. And so it was just like I was told what I needed to do. Like I sent you that list of like all those commandments that were
Mm.
compiled in, and it's like it was easy to, abstain from alcohol and not have caffeine, like not drink coffee, wear modest clothing, pay tithing. It was easy to do all of that stuff. And yet something's not right here.
Mm.
So when you are so it is easy for I think for a lot of people to just be given that because they don't have to worry about extra external things, and if that's what they need, okay, fine.
Yeah, that's like some of the I'm in Rhode Island and it's a very Catholic state. A lot of the kids went to Catholic school and they all had school uniforms. And some of them really thought, and I always thought, oh, how could anybody like go out and go around town wearing these dorky outfits, But But the thing is, like, for them, there was no, it wasn't a choice. It was just like, okay, this is what you do. And we don't have to think about what we're going to wear and how we're going to do it and what we're going to do. You know, their individual expression was like how they did their hair or something, you know, but,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what color they painted their toenails or, you know, what socks they wore or something. But, you know, like the general outfit was there. There was no decision. So it was so very easy for them, I think, you know.
It was. I just put it on and left and went to school. It was
Yeah.
very easy. But
And even
I
go
did,
ahead.
but when I went out, I was able to make my own choices and pick my own clothes. Was I knew enough to do that. I mean, I wasn't like I could figure it out. It wasn't something where like I couldn't figure it out and I did like
Mhm.
uh, you know. So I mean, it wasn't something that I couldn't. I just relied on that. But it was easy for school. I mean, I kind of liked it to be honest, you know.
Mhm.
And I did go to an all girls school and I kind of liked it in one way because I didn't have to worry about get boys because I like my dad used to say I was boy crazy. Um, that's probably because there was no boys there. But I kind of liked it so I could like just more concentrate on my school and but other than that, you know,
Mhm. Hmm.
And I was just going to ask you if you ever felt like you were sexualized because you were wearing a uniform, but being in an all girls school, maybe you didn't have that experience because the guys weren't there.
yeah, no, I didn't have any guys there, but I did see like I had to go, I was on a bus, so I did have to go like to public school. I had to ride two buses because I was an hour away from where I lived, so I had to ride two buses. So I did go into public school and they all looked at me, they all
Hmm.
looked at everybody with the uniforms on, and especially the girls, like, look at them, ugly uniforms and everything, but the guys really didn't say anything, that I know, or at least to me. I don't know. Or I
Hmm.
heard anything that they said. But we all try to make him look fashionable, like rolling him up and make him look short and, doing all the things that made him look
Yep.
just like everybody else,
Hmm.
you know, when you got in high school. When you were in grade school, you didn't care because you didn't know any better. You just went to school and did your thing, played in the playground. And there was boys at my grade school, so we were just all together. It was just like a boy and girl. We weren't interested in the boy and girl thing. So
One piece of advice my mom gave me that I actually appreciated was not that I liked wearing dresses to school or skirts, but there would be times that I would have to for whatever reason. She always told me to put shorts on underneath, and I'm just like, why the fuck? And then I saw all the fucking boys looking up the girls' dresses and
Yeah,
skirts
right.
and like, trying
Mm.
to, and I'm just like, we're like in kindergarten, first grade, like second grade. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not okay. I mean, I know that there's curiosity that is developing around your bodies during that age, and that does not excuse bad behavior.
Hmm. Yeah, right.
We're talking, I just wear a swimsuit. And they're like, you think a swimsuit's going to stop that from happening? Because I didn't fully understand like how that even worked. But it was just like, well, if I just put more clothes, again,
yeah,
you're covering up.
harder to take off.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, now I know you just pee and poop yourself and then hope they, you know, want nothing to do with
Tell my
safety.
kids act crazy and run away and act like you're nuts, and I tell them all these things.
Hmm.
Be aware of your situation. That's what I used to say. Don't get yourself involved in those kind of situations. Be aware anywhere. Even in the nicest places, anything could happen. I used to hate to say those kind of things, though.
Well, I always hated that. God, did I resent that, you
Ah,
know? Why do I have to always be on guard, on
well,
alert, wondering
period.
who's gonna be hitting on me or
Yes.
molesting me or
Yes,
whatever, it's like this is so unfair. It always seems so unfair. Like,
always.
why do women always have to
Fair.
be this way? Why do we have to? Why can't, certain places you can't walk, certain places you
Right,
can't go alone, certain places at certain times of day you can't go alone. It's like,
right.
why all these
Wish we
rules,
could all just carry our guns
Yeah.
and shoot them all. Well, I'm serious. In one way, I mean,
Yeah, because it is unfair. There's so much pressure and strain and fear for women
Yeah.
because of their safety, because of what other people think and do that has nothing to do with our actions or
no,
behavior.
no, no.
And yet we're the ones that have to repent. We're the ones that have to make the changes. We're the ones who lose ourselves and maybe our safe places. At my neighborhood park, and then there was this lawn maintenance guy that kept coming up all the time.
Hmm.
And I was just like, why are you following me? Why are you bothering me? A good spot. No one was around. I'm laying on my back, trying to ground. All of a sudden he wheels up and I'm just freaked out because I'm just, what the fuck are you doing? And then it was like my husband was like, well, don't go there anymore. And I said, no, I was there first. He doesn't even belong there. I don't want to lose this space just because he's being an ass. And so it was me kind of trying to stand firm. And at the same time, it's like, well, I also understand that my husband's trying to keep me safe too. And so it's like, it's a battle. And it's like, how do you win? How do you, yeah, Robin, I don't know. I feel like you have some wisdom in there.
Well, yeah, and then there's this other thing where, you're just trying to be nice. You'd like to have a nice normal conversation with somebody. And it's like there you have to kind of like think, all right, if this happens, it's gonna be taken the wrong way. It's like you can't even be friendly to somebody. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, no, no, that's just too weird. It's
Yes.
just too weird. And it's not fair. And I can remember thinking, I mean, I got pretty good at changing tires on my car because it was like, am I safer if I can like get out and change my own tire real quick before some guy comes along and decides he's gonna help me, It's like,
Right,
you bet your ass I'm gonna have that tire changed in 5 minutes and be out of there.
right. Me
So
too.
I got
Right.
real good at it,
That's smart.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right.
Always thinking like, okay,
Always.
got the tire iron here. I'll just club him over the head.
Right.
It's
Right.
Come on. I'm just waiting
That's
for some
right.
of it.
That's my dad always used to say, man. And my dad said, don't think of always, you think of yourself first,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Them. Mm-mm.
Why do you
It's
have
either
to think
you,
like that? It's
it's
just
a, and you have to instill, and then also you have to instill fear into
yeah,
people. I hate that. We
I
already
hate
have
that.
enough fear. Our children already have enough fear. And then you have to do it as a parent, and you try not to put it as fear. You try to put it as wisdom.
Wisdom, safety.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just fear.
But it's
It
also
ends up as fear.
bullshit though, because you know what? How many guys? I mean, I think that's so unfair to men too. It's like guys aren't always thinking about raping people and molesting people. I mean, 99.9% of the guys on the planet would just want to be like nice, regular guys and, normal people. And so why, and now you set up this dynamic. And it's like, it's so unfair to everybody. And I think
Yeah.
it's so wrong. And it creates that too, And so I don't have a solution. I don't know what the solution could be, but it just seems like everybody gets screwed because of this?
Yeah.
Because of the 1%.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and then like good, decent men are vilified and they're guilty by association just because, they're part of the species, part of the sex that's the problem.
and
Right.
then
And
you don't
and
trust anybody.
Right.
yeah,
Then the flip side of that is, does anyone know a single woman who hasn't been molested in some way? I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely not, you know? So, yeah. So what are boys being taught? You know? What are
Yeah.
they coming away with? What is, what is okay and what is not okay, you know? Um,
And I feel like a lot of it, I mean, if if the mom is the parent that is giving the most education to the child based on dynamic family dynamics, if whoever's with the child most and is educating them, please teach them to be responsible for their own behavior and not point the fault to other things. In the sense of, I was listening to something where, I think this guy was a teenager. He gave his first kiss. It was like a peck on the lips to like some other girl. He told his mom about it. His mom flipped out and called the parents of the girl and said that, called the girl a whore for kissing her son and like all
come
this other stuff. And
on.
I was just like, back up, lady. You are part of the problem because you are teaching that it doesn't matter what a man does, what a boy does. It's always the woman's fault, and they're labeled as such. And this is part of the problem is who is exactly who is teaching these people and what are they teaching them?
Wow.
Right. Right, exactly. But the other side of that is, there's such a thing as being a little bit too uptight too. You know? I mean, if
Hmm.
you want to flirt with somebody, if you want to slap them on the ass, if you want to, I mean, is that so awful, you know? Is that is that really, really wrong? Is that just like normal human kind of playing around, you know? It's like, where do you draw the line, you know? And I don't know.
I think consent. It's like
Consent, yeah.
when we were when I was engaged, I was just like, hey, stop my ass now. You can like, come on. And and he was like so scared. He was just like, what? Like, why do you want that? And I'm just like, I think it's hot. And so like it took some encouragement of like, hey, I'm okay with this. I would like this, And so, but yeah, other people they'd be like, don't touch me. No,
Right.
but yeah, randomly going up and slapping people on the ass, while that might be hilarious in some context, yeah, it doesn't fit all the situations.
No, it certainly doesn't. It certainly doesn't. So, hmm. Yeah, and then like, I don't know, like the rules again, it's the rules and how do you know and what's going to be taken as offensive and what's going to be taken as all in good fun, you know? And like you with your in-laws not wanting, them to like hug you and stuff, it's like, yes, it's your body, it's your boundaries. So, but how do you even let people know, like this is okay, this is not okay, without like flipping out on them or something,
Yeah,
Or sometimes it may be okay and sometimes it may not be okay. It's that too, Sometimes like it can just be situational. So
yeah.
it's hard. It's really hard.
Well, it's like you think about it, you get in a fight with someone or an argument or whatever, you know, when you're both mad, it's like you don't want to touch each other or whatever.
Right.
But someone may eventually get to the point where they're like, okay, I want to make amends. Like I'm ready. May I hug you? Like, but still, there's that permission that needs to be given, and this consent, but informed consent, not
Mm,
not. I'm going to leave out some of these stipulations behind what I'm asking
right.
permission
But
for.
but then okay, do you have to ask permission for every damn thing you do? I mean,
Yes, because then it gets exhausting. Like if you're in a
yeah.
relationship and you're like, Donna's not on your head. Like,
Yeah, can I talk now?
yes,
Is it all right to
please.
talk?
Please do.
Yeah,
Please
no,
do.
no, not for this, but in my
Yeah.
relationship, I gotta say, can I talk now? Is this a good time?
Gotcha.
Are you ready
Yeah.
for this? Can we discuss this? Really? It's tiring,
It is.
exhausting, you know? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to ask every little thing. It should flow. I believe it should just flow.
I
Yeah.
would love in a world where things just
Yeah,
flow.
but it ain't happening. Or you could, I mean, it can happen for a while, but I don't think it lasts.
Yeah.
Everybody has barcodes of what their preferences are, and you just scan them like, who connected what? What would?
I'll tell you, like a few weeks ago, I was just talking to this guy, and he just like kind of like grabbed my boob. And we both just burst out laughing because I was just like, "Really? Really? Like, who the hell do you think you are?" But he was like so kind of like boyish and like, "Oh, I just had to try that." And I was just like, "Okay, so you just had to try that, didn't you?" I was like, "Knock it off?"
You know
But
it?
I just thought it was hysterical, and I just burst out laughing. Like, normally, I would have kicked him in the nuts or something. I was like, "Who the
It's
hell are you?"
funny.
But I just burst out laughing. I was like, "Yeah, you just had to try, didn't you?"
How funny is that?
My
That is cool.
God. You know?
You better have at least bought you dinner.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that was kind of cool.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, I
Something
was like,
different, Robin.
"Huh?"
It was something different.
It was something different. I was just like, this guy was like just so little
Did you know
boyish
him?
and cute. It was just, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's just so little boyish and cute. I just,
how
oh my
funny.
God. But normally I would not think that was little boyish and cute. I would have just been like, what are you doing? I just burst out laughing. It was like, okay, that's the first time I've ever thought that was amusing, but but it was totally situational. It was just like, oh my God, I
Yeah,
can't believe this guy.
I know, right? Like, what got into you, buddy?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Were you having a moment?
I don't know. God.
That is funny.
It was. It was,
I'm
but like
proud
in
of you for
any other situation, it would not have been funny.
No, I would have like
The thing.
freaked out for a
yeah.
moment.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the
exactly.
hell?
But the fact that it had the opposite effect on you, it sounds like there was something very healing about it in that moment. It was
In that
something
moment,
where
it was. And what was even funnier was like he came like the next day, he was like, "So are you really mad?" He's like, all apologetic. And I was like, "No, I'm not mad because I thought it was so out of character and so funny. I just, it's just like, oh, okay, whatever."
Very cute.
you're like, yes, I have nice boobs. Thank you.
Yeah, right,
He said,
exactly.
how was it?
Yeah, was it good for you? Yeah.
Spank me.
I know. It felt good for me. All right, it's okay. Let's go. Let's get on. Let's go. Let's move
I
on.
had better hands grab my boobs.
Let's move
Yeah,
on to the
right.
next one. But that would have been something. That was a nice treat. That woke you up,
Yeah, woke me up, yes.
opened up one of your chakras.
Yeah, right.
What's unblocked?
Oh, it's been a long time since someone did that.
I know, right? What a good feeling, I still got it, baby.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You're just like, ooh. I can only imagine like what that might have done for you, like just kind of reawakened.
Yeah,
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, yeah.
That's fun.